In the words of the iconic Mae West, I speak two languages, body and English. Hello everyone, I'm Sarah from Everyday Starlet. Welcome to my channel. I make videos to inspire you to be the star of your own life. Let's talk about the art of feminine communication. One of the most common questions that I get asked is how to communicate with your partner from your feminine energy. And if you are somebody who's curious about that, I have a really exciting announcement to make later on in this video. I would go so far as to say that communication in a relationship is the most important thing. I feel like most people say that the things that destroy a relationship are money and sex. I would go so far as to say that the thing that destroys most relationships is poor communication. Usually about money and sex, because those are the two taboo topics that we're usually afraid to talk about. But most of the communication skills that we learn tend to be coming from a very masculine place. Our society is set up to be very masculine in its direction, just being very direct, being very to the point. And there's a time and place for that for sure. There's a time and place for anybody, whether you are a masculine being or whether you're a feminine being, to communicate from your masculine energy. Usually in the workforce, it's very often the case. As a parent, that may be the case that you need to communicate from your masculine or your feminine, depending on the moment. And in an intimate relationship, you may also need to communicate from your masculine, even if you are the feminine partner in the relationship. It's just a matter of knowing if that's what's right in that moment. But there are a few reasons why it is important for you to learn how to communicate from your feminine energy. The first reason is it's better for you. If you are a naturally feminine being, communicating from your feminine may feel awkward at first if it's not what you're used to, but it is going to feel like the way you should have been communicating your whole life, because it's going to be your natural state. Many cultures believe that masculinity is a learned behavior. It's something that boys need to grow into. They need to be initiated into. They need to be led into by healthy masculine leaders, which is why the masculine elders in a community would usually take young boys aside when they reached a certain age and would really train them to go into their masculine energy. In our society today, we kind of guide everybody into their masculine energy because we throw everybody together in this big pool, like in schools and things like that. And we kind of teach everybody how to kind of communicate from their masculine. I would argue we don't have really strong, healthy masculine leadership that is actually training young boys to the fullness of their masculinity, but that's another topic for another day. However, most cultures believe that young girls will naturally evolve, like Mother Nature kind of initiates women into their feminine energy. So that if most young women were left to their own devices and just left to develop naturally, not in the way that our society manipulates us to grow and to develop, but the way that we are naturally intended to develop, that most women would naturally be very feminine. So I encourage any woman, if you are listening to this, if you're new to my content, if you're listening to this and you're thinking, I don't want to be feminine or pretend to be feminine, I don't want to be something that I'm not. If you are a natural feminine core being, which the majority of women are, being in your feminine energy is not about being something that you're not. It's about connecting back to who you really are. It's about chipping away at all those things that society has told you that you have to be and actually connecting back to who you truly are at your core. So while most of us as women have been very trained and very conditioned to communicate from a very masculine place, learning to communicate from your feminine energy will feel very natural and probably feel a lot more comfortable to you really in your soul. Like your ego might fight it a little bit, and I have a lot of videos talking about ego versus soul. Your ego might fight it a little bit, but your soul is going to love to communicate from this way. In the long run, it's going to feel much better for you to communicate from your inner feminine energy. And it's also great for your relationship, because in order to have sexual polarity in a relationship, you need a masculine partner, you need a feminine partner. And we all contain both energies. So there are gonna be times in any relationship where both partners are gonna be in their masculine energy or both partners are gonna be in their feminine energy. And that's fine and it's perfectly healthy. It's just a matter of, if you want a relationship that has sexual polarity, that has sexual drive, like those couples who really like crave each other, those couples who've been together for years and years and years and they still crave each other's intimacy, they desire each other, like that kind of sexual polarity. And it doesn't always have to just be sexual, but those partners who are really connected, you need to cultivate that polarity, which means each partner needs to be in their natural core energy and those need to be opposite energies. So if you are a natural feminine being and you're in a relationship with a partner who is a natural masculine being, communicating from your feminine energy will keep that sexual polarity going. That doesn't mean that you can't sometimes just be in your masculine energy and communicate with him. And that might work fine every once in a while. It might be what's needed in that moment. However, In those moments where you do, your masculine partner is going to do one of two things. He's either going to communicate back to you in his masculine energy, and you two are going to have a feeling of being more like buddies or like roommates, which is fine to have once in a while in a relationship, but most people don't really want that in their intimate relationship all the time. Or oftentimes over time what happens is if you as a feminine being are constantly communicating to your masculine partner from your masculine energy, he may then start to shift in order to cultivate the sexual polarity. He may then start to shift into his feminine. You see that a lot with a lot of the stereotypical like nagging wives who are constantly like controlling their husbands. That attitude, that nagging, is very masculine energy. It's coming from a very controlling masculine energy. And oftentimes that ends up cultivating in your masculine partner his own inner feminine. He loses his direction because you have so much direction. In that sense, because you're going to be in opposite energies, but because you're not in your natural core energies, the relationship isn't going to feel like it's on fire. And that's usually when you end up in those relationships where it kind of feels like, again, the nagging wife or the passive husband, or like you kind of feel like you're mothering your partner type of thing. So that's why I have designed a masterclass that I'm super excited to share with you. It is all about how to communicate from your feminine energy. You're going to learn things like the difference between how the masculine and the feminine communicate with each other, how to speak your truth and communicate your true needs with your partner from your feminine energy, keeping your heart open. I'm going to use film examples from some of my breakdowns to show some of the dynamics. I'm really excited to share this masterclass with you because it was highly requested, and I know this is going to help so many women to actually learn how to communicate from their feminine, be able to connect with their masculine partner, and to really cultivate the type of relationship that you truly want. So all the details for this masterclass will be in the description box below. If you have any questions, please reach out to me. I'd be more than happy to answer them. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please give it a big thumbs up and be sure you subscribe to my channel. Again, the details will be in the description box below, along with links to all my social media accounts. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you join me next time.